Good afternoon, Craig. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. For everybody who's just tuned in, my name is Gugu Sidaki, and I'm one of the committee members of the YFPO. That's the Young Financial Planners Organization. And essentially, all we're trying to do is to inspire young people to choose financial planning as a viable career option. And if you're already in the industry, we are trying to give you tips and pointers on how to improve yourself and how to become a better financial planner, not just from a work experience perspective, but I think also just as an individual navigating their way through this industry. And today we've got Craig Gradidge from Gradidge Mahura Investments. Just a quick intro on Craig. He's co-founder and chief investment officer at Gradidge Mahura Investments. He's a certified financial planner, and he's been in the industry since the 90s, 1996.
Yep.
And Gradidge Mahura Investments has won a number of accolades, and Craig is one of the biggest supporters of the ASISA internship program. And what that program is just to facilitate the work experience of young financial planners in our industry. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So thank you so much, Craig. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Are you well today?
Yes, good afternoon, Gugu, and thank you for the invitation. Hopefully I can, help with the task of motivating some of the younger guys, and hopefully have some lessons to share.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. As I mentioned, your practice is one of the biggest supporters of the ASISA internship program. So that means you get to see a lot of young financial planners coming into the industry, and you get to mentor them, you get to coach them, and obviously you get to see some trends, right?
Yeah.
In terms of what they lack in experience, maybe sometimes qualifications. Can you share some of that with us? What are the gaps that you're seeing with young or new entrants into the planning space?
Yeah, I think there's a general kind of rush or hurry for the younger guys to get into planning and to start giving advice. And I mean, when Kagish and I started the business, we were about 35 years old at the time. So we had sort of reasonable experience, reasonable life experience. And even though we had very little financial planning experience per se, we had sort of 12 years industry experience. We'd worked with financial advisors. And even starting at that late age of 35, we found it quite daunting to go out and give advice, because you never know what clients are going to ask you. You never know what question they're going to ask you. You never know what situation they're in.
Yeah.
And if you come there and client asks you a question and you're unable to give proper response to that question, you start to lose credibility in front of that client, but you also start to lose confidence yourself. And then each and every sort of subsequent consultation becomes a bit more of a challenge, particularly if you start losing your self-confidence. So we urge our young planners, our graduates, to come in and spend a lot of time doing para-planning. So that's where you kind of get to work with the client's balance sheets, with their financial objectives. You get to do the analysis, but you don't have the challenge of sitting in front of that client and getting these questions coming at you that you potentially are unable to answer. So after a few years of doing that, you then have the confidence to go out, because you would have seen several balance sheets, you would have seen the solutions that have been put together for different sort of scenarios. And that gives you really good confidence to then go out and service a much better quality client base than if you just kind of start out quite young.
Yeah. Interesting. And in your practice, Craig, your paraplanners don't get to interact with clients. Is that correct?
No, they do get to interact with clients. They don't get to give advice directly to clients.
Right.
Okay. So they may call clients and or as part of the information gathering process. They're sitting on meetings that advisors would have with clients, and it's easier to do that in a online world. But the objective is for them to develop their own sort of experience set without the pressure of the client situation.
Right.
So that consultation setting where it's you and the client, and you don't know what's going to come your way. We would rather send guys out that are technically quite sound, that have tackled a 15-20 million rand balance sheet and understand some of the subtleties that go with that. They would know the issues, tax, estate planning, all of that they can put those issues on the table instead of waiting for the client to put the issues on the table. And that then gives the client more confidence that this person is experienced in dealing with someone like that.
Yeah, okay, excellent. Thank you for that. You mentioned the online world. With COVID in the last couple of years, we've all sort of had to manage our meetings, our working space remotely. And I think that can be a challenge for a young person starting out in the industry. Do your new entrants into the industry work remotely? And if they do they experience issues with, like, for example, time management?
Yes and no. So for the most part, they actually do come into the office, but they do have the option of working remotely. So the preference has been to come in, and I think it's a good thing. There's some practical issues around catching public transport and carrying a company laptop. So, until those that have their own transport tend to take the work from home option a bit more often than those that don't have their own transport. So there's some of those practicalities. However, we have a practice manager that they all report to, and she's responsible for their development and moving them, kind of ensuring that they get sort of proper training. And one of her responsibilities would then be to monitor productivity and that.
Okay. And they're doing okay?
Yeah, no, I think we've been blessed with really excellent paraplanners over the years. Yeah.
Excellent.
It's been
Super.
good.
Super. So, a big part of what we do is to be convincing, yes, to clients so that they buy into who we are as individuals and who we are as planners. But also a large part of what we do is to get potential employers to buy into us. So if you're going to be employed, you want to be marketable, right? And there's various ways to do it. Obviously, not every single intern that comes or walks through your doors is going to be guaranteed a seat at the table. So how would you encourage young people who don't have job security yet to market themselves in a very competitive environment that we find ourselves in?
Yeah, I would actually say don't focus on marketing yourself. Focus on capacitating yourself. So develop your skill, develop your technical knowledge, because with that, you would have employers fighting over you. You can write articles, you can do podcasts and all of those things. But an employer will pick up on the lack of substance. And that lack of substance would also sort of limit what you're able to bring to the table when you go to an employer. So I would say focus on your digital skills, focus on your technical skills, focus on being, we don't expect a young person to come in and be able to attract executives as clients. But we would somebody who's got capacity, who's got skill, whose knowledge is quite sound. An employer will see the potential and would be patient and kind of give them opportunities to build and grow a book over time. But the best thing for a young person starting out today, I would say don't do kind of a marketing qualification, go and do a tax course. Because the people you want to deal with hate paying tax. And you will be of value to people like that, because now you can say, wow, look, I've got kind of a, postgraduate in tax or a certificate in tax. And they go, okay, this person, I need to talk to them. That's how you attract good clients, high quality clients, as you address the issues that they're kind of grappling with. They're not really interested in which balance fund's the best performing one. You had limited value there. But, with estate planning, with tax planning, you then moving up into a very high quality client base.
Right. And just on that point, Craig, I think we've all experienced it at some point when you're starting out and you eventually unleashed, so to speak, onto clients, and you're able to engage with clients and advise them. We deal, as an industry, obviously, we deal with people from all walks of life. So different genders, different ages, different races. And it's hard, to connect with people who don't look like you, who are of a different generation. And I remember sitting in front of retirees as a young 27-year-old planner, and it was hard to convince them that I'm going to, advise them accordingly, and that they can listen to what I have to say. And for the longest time, we struggle. I mean, I know a lot of planners who struggle with the imposter syndrome and how to be convincing planners to people who don't look like them. How over and above the technical knowledge, like how else can somebody get over that hump?
Yeah, so the technical knowledge gives you the confidence. So, I can think of one or two young people who I've worked with who are quite awkward socially. But quite strong technically, and have been able so clients pick up on that. So if you go to a lawyer with the problem, and within kind of 20-25 minutes you kind of go, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. He might be a bit awkward, he might be doesn't sell himself, but he knows what he's doing, so I'm comfortable with that. Because I'm paying him to be a lawyer. I'm not paying him to be an entertainer or a comedian. Exactly. So in the sales world that existed in financial services 20 years ago, even 15 years ago, and to some extent today, there are sort of planners who built big books as a result of their personalities and their sales ability. But clients are becoming more and more demanding and looking past that. So yeah, I personally am fairly introverted. I'm not comfortable in a sort of a social setting. So that kind of consultation setting is not natural to me. But when you start talking to people and understanding them and getting into the financial planning process, then they've got a certain confidence. They go, okay, I can work with this guy. He's got the qualifications, he's got the experience, he's got the track record. That's it. That's what I need. There are some people here and there who are sort of looking at the personality and can they connect with you. If you miss out on a few of those, and it doesn't matter whichever way you tackle it, you're going to miss out on clients. We've got clients that really they just want the technical detail, and we've got clients who want absolutely no technical detail. You must give them kind of the executive summary, and you need to be able to adapt to both. But yeah, I think be you, be your authentic self, and it's easier to do that because now you're going to spend so much time and energy trying to figure out what type of person this client likes and to try and be that person.
I suppose the point is that there's you hear this term quite a lot. There are enough clients out there for all of us, right? So whether you're the introverted, technically focused individual, whether you're the extroverted,
Yes.
relationship person, ultimately, if you're good at what you do, you'll attract the right kind of clients for you.
100%.
Great. This has been so inspiring, and thank you so much for your time, Craig, and all the best at Gradidge Mahura. I know you've got a lot of important meetings to attend to, so we'll let you get back to it.
Great. Thank you, Gugu.
Cheers.
And thank you to everybody.
Bye.